Jeffrey gets scolded by teacher in school in front of the whole class because he wasn't studying enough. And then he got motivated and decided that he will study for 7 hours every day. He went home, he studied for 7 hours in the whole day, and then went to sleep. When he was about to sleep, he was hella tired. The next day he goes to school, he feels like shit. He feels groggy and sleepy. He didn't have proper sleep last night. He had in fact less sleep last night. And then he looked in the corridor over there, and there's the guy who is in his class, who is laughing, who is happy, talking to other people. And then he gets jealous of him. The name of the guy over there is Adonis. Adonis studies less. He studies for like 2 to 3 hours every day. And because he studies less, he manages time for other habits, other good habits like exercising and meditating, reading. And because of all these good habits, he have a good mental health and he's happy. But still, he manages top grades in his class. He's a topper of his class. I live in India and there is a bookworm mentality among the people. The people here weirdly value students who studies for long, for 8 to 12 hours. You will be set an example for other students if you study for 8 hours or 10 hours every day. And my parents got influenced by this thinking too. They wanted me to study for almost the whole day. They wanted to see me studying for most part of the day. I was literally kind of forced to study. They didn't physically force me to study, but mentally. And they built a mental pressure on me. I didn't want it to study for that long. I maybe didn't even want it to study. But all this had an effect on me too. I started to think a little bit that success will come if I study more and more. And you know what the crazy part is? I didn't even have a clear goal of what I wanted to become. I didn't even like a subject. But in the end of 2022, I got onto self-improvement. And my life has changed since then. In February of this year, I had my high school board exams. Like these are one of the exams which are valued very high. Like parents like get crazy when their child get into 10th grade when he's about to give high school board examination. These are the exams where students get pressurized. They think what is gonna happen. But even during the exams, I was happy. I was satisfied. I was studying less even during the exams. And still I managed to get top third rank in my school. And my current condition is that I love studying. I want to study. Why I love studying? Well, that is a different topic. I love studying because of my good mental health and because of all the meditation and journaling I have done over more than a year. And my parents don't force me now. Yeah, they sometimes say to study, but that is completely normal, isn't it? Now I only study for 2 hours aside from school. Sometimes it gets 3 hours when there's a test coming up. Why should you study less? Well, that's because when you study more and more and more, and you don't even want to study that much, or you don't even want to work that much, you experience several burnouts very oftenly, and eventually you get stressed that Sit to study, there's so much to study, and just by seeing it, you get stressed that I have to cover all of this, and then you get anxious. What will happen? I don't know if I can study this much, and then you get scared. I don't know if I can study this much. There's a test coming. How am I going to do it? How am I going to perform it? I will score less. Blah. You understand what I mean, right? And this affects your overall mental health. This worsens it. Parkinson's law states that the work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. In other words, the work gets harder to complete as the work stretches to fill the time allotted for its completion. Like, for example, if you give a certain task 4 weeks to be completed in, it will be completed in 4 weeks. And if you give that same task 4 hours to be completed in, it will be completed in 4 hours. That's how the Parkinson's law works. So instead of studying for 8 hours, 10 hours, you should try to get into a enough yet less time frame, like 2 hours, 3 hours. That is completely fine. And then there is the law of diminishing returns, which states that the more you put into your work, the less returns you will get. How it applies in the case of studying is, when you put more hours, more techniques, more tips and tricks which you got from internet, study hacks, when you put all of those stuff, you will get less returns. You will not memorize everything you have studied. You know what I'm getting to, right? It is like, for example, when you water a plant, it needs a certain amount of water. You need a certain amount of time to study. But if you give it more water, expecting it to grow to a tree right now, and if you give studying 8 hours, 10 hours, which is water in your case, when you give that much, it both the plant and your health will be worsened. You wanted to get the plant to become a tree, but it has instead gave you opposite result. And that is how it works in your studies too. So now it's clear to you that you should study less. You shouldn't force yourself to study more and more and more, thinking that it will lead to better results. Definitely it will be hard at first. For 1 week, when you start to study for only 2 hours, 3 hours every day, you will think like that, I'm not catching up. No, I'm not catching up to others. But in the second week, I'm just estimating it, in the second week, you will get far better results than before, and you will very fastly catch up to others, and you will very fastly leave them behind. Well, how to study less then? Well, firstly, more likely you don't study, you pretend to study. There's a difference. Studying is completely focused on getting the knowledge without any distraction, and pretend studying means studying for marks, for question paper, and in between you are just scrolling for a little while, messaging that friend or checking that photo, whatever. That is pretend studying when you aren't focused. So we need to fix that too. First, you need to allocate time for your studying, right? The time needs to be enough yet less. you have to be realistic here, because you can't expect a building to be made in one day. Like, you can't expect Burj Khalifa to be made in just one day or 1 hour. Like, that's stupid, right? So allocate the time accordingly. And in the time when you are studying, there shouldn't be any distraction. Your phone or anything shouldn't distract you. You don't need to check messages or check that photo, or you don't need to go out. Just study for the allocated time. And if you have set your time to 3 hours, then after 1.5 hour you need to rest a bit. And that rest will not mean that you can watch videos or pick up your phone. That rest means just rest, both mental and physical. You can go sit under the sky, you can get the sunlight, or if it's night, you can just lie down, sit straight, and let your mind doze off, and then get your next batch of studying done. That rest is recovery, and you need recovery after that second study session too. Phone doesn't give you recovery. Video games won't give you recovery. They will overstimulate your mind. And also, there's another thing you need to keep in mind. I'm not completely confiscating you on 2 to 3 hours of work or studying every day. I'm saying that because most of the students doesn't even want to study. They don't want to study. They want to get the grades and other benefits from it. They don't want the knowledge. They are studying because it's the norm. They are not studying because they want to study. There's a very big difference. In that case, you should be studying for less. When you like to study, when you love studying, and you have time, you definitely should study more. If you can maintain focus for long periods of time, definitely go for long periods of time. You are understanding what I mean, right? So please keep that in mind. This is a very important topic, the studying topic, because thousands of students suicides every year under the pressure of parents, of school, of teachers, of societal requirements and gossips. I just can't see my peers going through so much trouble from so much pressure and force. Like, people are literally brainwashed. Parents get brainwashed by society easily. They would see that student is studying for many hours every day, and they would want their child. They wouldn't care about their health. They are like, I mean, like, they are so selfish. They only see what they have done. They don't think of the future. They say that study and then you will be successful in the future. No, you won't. Yeah, definitely you would get a tiring job which you don't even want to do. I can't see my peers like that. It is very sad to see. So we as students need to do what we want to do. So that's it for the video. I will always be rooting for you.